still working on. I got the so I take the rough manuscript, tape it to the back, and then I light box it. So, and I'm just gonna work on this tonight. So that's what you guys are joining me for. And if you're wondering what's playing in the background, it's Ghost in the Shell. All right, I just put in there a link to my blog that has all my comics. You can read them there for free. So the first thing I do, actually, what I should do is go around the panel border. And this is the space that I measured out. This is what will actually be like captured in the Webtoons. This isn't like the panel size, but more like the phone size. Just realize you're looking at the top of my head. I am not a big fan of that. So I can bring it in a little closer. There we go. So I got that door pretty much right. That bottom door. Um, hey. Oh, hey, Sinistful, how you doing? Um, I am working on a I'm working on a webtoon, I guess, a manga, kind of for fun. So more to learn. We'll call it a learning experience, is what this is. Because I've had a hard time drawing things on my own. Um, I end up just staring at the blank page and then scrolling on my phone for hours because I can't think of anything to draw and I don't know what. I don't know. I don't have like a curriculum of what I need to practice, but I know I need to practice. So I just came up with a story and I was like, this is the best way for me to learn to actually have like an assignment and goal that I'm working on. So this is gonna make me push myself. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm drawing. I'm working on perspective. There's this lady sitting inside this carriage that's getting held up, and I am working on the perspective, which if I was here on my own, I would not be working on perspective. So this is all really good for me as far as getting better and growing. So, yep. While watching Ghost in the Shell. So, lost half the progress on a game. That sucks. Thought about making a list of what I can draw. Should make a list of what you can draw. I got enough things I need to work on. So this is my method. If I don't know what to draw, I need to give myself assignments. And it seems to be the only way to make me stretch and grow is to force myself to draw things that I wouldn't normally draw. Like I did a comic earlier this year for a YouTube channel. It was steampunk, 3-page thing, and it took me forever because I was hating it. Um, Not like the story or anything in particular. I thought it was really cool. I always wanted to draw steampunk, and I got into it. And I was like, oh, this is hard. A bunch of stuff I haven't drawn before. It's Victorian era, fashion and combined with, steam powered technology, which is all, not steampunk, but it's all stuff that I haven't done before. Um, I wasn't super passionate about, but, like mildly interested in. So I took it on, and it took me forever to do. But I feel like I grew a lot from that project because it was stuff that I didn't do regularly. Um, and there was a lot of perspective in it too. I did 2 of the 3 pages digitally, entirely digitally, which was difficult. So yeah, overall grateful I did it. I don't think it was my best pages, but really happy that I did it because it made me do so much. We've got some luggage up here on the top of the carriage, which I'm going to So yeah, if you want to push yourself, I kind of look, if you're self-taught and you're not taking classes academically, like in college, or some sort of structured class, then it's hard to keep yourself disciplined, working and growing. It's not enough to just draw, because you get into this trap that I fell into for years, where I was just drawing the same boring shit over and over again. So ultimately, I didn't grow very much. I got really good at faces and eyes, doing simple busts like this. I'm doing basic anatomy with characters, standing straight and looking at you. Like I got really great at those because that's all I did. But um, perspective like this, drawing vehicles or wagons, not so good at. This page is going to have horses on it. Um, I didn't draw animals very much, but so some things I got really good at, and then everything else just went down and sucked. So it's me learning. And this, by the way, is a trick that I learned from Haruhisa Nakata. He has a YouTube channel, and he works like this. He has a bunch of pages that he's working on simultaneously, and he jumps around. Um, but yeah, so we'll have this page, and then underneath, he has this sketch page. Um, but then as he's working and he notices things, he'll flip it over and work on the back side of that sketch page, sketching in details, because this is where you can kind of work and do perspective lines and all that crap. And then over here on the finished page, you're drawing the finished lines. And I haven't seen that done before anywhere else. So maybe you can find it in other places, but I haven't. And now a lot of people are working digitally, and a lot of craft and stuff like this is being lost. So yeah, Yeah, I studied art books too. I still have a bunch of art books, even though pretty much everything now is on YouTube or other unofficial places. But still not quite the same if you don't have a structured curriculum. I kind of think of it like going to the gym, where you need to have like a leg day, arm day, and these different days with different focuses. Yeah, and drawings. So us as artists, we would have days we would work on hands, and you might set a timer and or maybe have 2 or 3 pages. Like I'm gonna fill up 2 or 3 pages of just hand sketches, or set a timer for an hour, and I'm gonna draw hands for an hour today. And that would be what you do that day, next day, perspective. But you got to push yourself to actually work on the hard stuff like perspective and hands. Um, and that's the hard part. So for me, I'm this is what I do now. I come up with project ideas, and sorry for the squeaky chair, but I come up with project ideas, and that pushes me to work on these hard things. And now I'm working on several at a time, and growing and developing a portfolio. So this is gonna be really interesting. I haven't don't know how well this is gonna work. This whole traditional to digital webtoon process. Because here I'm working with a .5 mechanical pencil. This is a .9, but all of this is going to be on a phone. So I don't know how much is going to be super readable or like I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. That's weird. So what are you working on? Sinistful, how's it going? I think last time we were talking about like unplugging and getting off of social media. How are you doing with that? Horses and animals? Cool. Are you good at it? Like, is that what you prefer to do? Because I don't. I, man, only recently have I started sketching animals. Um, I did a minion. I'm doing a lot of kid-related stuff. Oh, here we go. T-Rex. Never drawn dinosaurs before, but followed a simple tutorial and came out really good. So. Here's a concept art for this character I'm working on for this particular story. Oh, jeez. Did some stitch. So what I'm learning doing these is this cartoonier kitty kind of drawings is learning a lot about simple shapes and volume. And I really like the Capcom style drawing muscles. Hopefully I'll be able to do that here. But Stitch is an incredibly simple character to draw. So, and then I started applying that to animals, and that's kind of how I figured it out. I got to take it down super simple and then build it up. Cartoony or realistic? That is, it's a hard decision to make. Let me tell you, I go back and forth all the time between like traditional American comic kind of style, and then more anime and manga, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna fall somewhere in between, but I can't figure it out. So, all right, go ahead and explain. I'll wait here while I work.
Righteousness is on my side. Begin a search for people with military ties.
I apologize for all this trouble. If you and your team hadn't been here right now, I'd probably be...
I'm not so sure. There's a possibility that he simply had no intention of killing you.
Oh, I read the best comic. This is one of my favorites now. Batman and the Joker Deadly Duo. It's drawn by Mark Silvestri, and it's gorgeous. This is the best Mark Silvestri art I've seen ever. He's at the top of his game, and he's been doing this a long time. He's probably 40 years. I have some of his early stuff from like the 80s. So he's been drawing for 40 years, and he hasn't dropped off in skill or effort at all. It's amazing. I love this. Look at this Joker. This is fantastic. This is peak comic book potential here. Um, and I love that it's like we get a lot of his line work in here. He spent a lot of time, a lot of effort on this. Um, but it's the back. It's filled with all the different variant covers in here. We got Jim Lee cover in here. But a lot of great covers, and there's a lot of. I don't spoil anything. Here it is. A lot of just his line work, just the inked pages, which he does himself. He does the pencils and inks. He also did a lot of the story too. This is entirely his concept that he came up with for this story. It is fantastic. Mark Silvestri, M-A-R-C, and then Silvestri is like S-Y. Yeah, Mark Silvestri. And he's like the owner of Top Cow Comics. He's one of the image guys. Um, it was just fantastic. Fantastic. So I've been drooling over this for like the last week, maybe 2 weeks. First of all, like so dramatic and dark. He created the Darkness and Witchblade, his creations. It's kind of like Charles Dana Gibson or or Bernie Wrightson-esque. Except Bernie Wrightson had much cleaner lines, and I'm pretty sure he used a brush, but it's giving me the same kind of feel. Anyway, this is stuff that I go between, Mark Silvestri kind of looking and Shiro Miwa. I'm gonna fall somewhere in between here. Between this and this is where I'm gonna fall. I'm just not sure, not sure where. Constantly working on it. Not sure why my video keeps pausing. Actually, I don't think that's right. It's gonna come down to about there.
A homicide staged to look like an accident? From what the investigators tell me, the victim was apparently hit with such force that there's little doubt his brain case was critically damaged.
But the truck driver swears up and down he doesn't remember anything because he fell asleep at the wheel. At this time, we're checking the driver's cyberbrain just to be safe, but I doubt we'll turn up anything. I guess our probe into the blackmailing of the energy industry just came to a dead end.
assuming that this man was working alone.
The victim's body was a Toyota Chemicals model 2902. He had a Dermo 2706 Mark II brain case. Cutting edge they're not, but both are new domestically made units. The exterior is also a market model with no options added, but the face is custom designed. Judging from the cellular deterioration, though, I'd say that it's a holdover from when he was first prostheticized. It's unusual for a criminal to keep part of his old appearance.
I understand his blackmail MO was apparently rather crude. It's entirely possible the information we have about an energy ministry scandal is just a bluff.
Even so, his death was made to look like an accident. Right as we were about to arrest our suspect, we find him murdered. What's with this symbol? I think it's the logo for the Shinjuku ward of the old capital. The area that sank in the war? Right. I don't know why, but for some reason his brain case was a coating of glass and lead.
Demon King, how's it going? Semi-realistic is also an option. Yep.
The man had these items on him. A reporter's contact
And then just the full spectrum in between.
It should provide
It's,
clues in determining the man's identity.
I don't know. There's a lot of places to go.
He left a message at my office saying that he wanted to meet with me.
I see.
I thought the tip smelled pretty bogus, but he had allegedly made the call from a public terminal in Tokyo.
Tokyo? So what was the tip?
So do you guys
It was about a scandal involving...
ever watch Akihito Yoshitomo
You spent your
on
time
YouTube?
finding out every little
He's a
detail
professional
about
manga
what you
artist in
worked on.
Japan. He's
Well,
been
we
working
couldn't meet our sources in person.
for like 30 plus years, probably 40 years now in manga.
Just two? And would you like smoking?
And he's really popular. He's almost got 1 million subscribers now. But his discipline is amazing, and he's got this whole schedule and process for
Photographic evidence. It's been exposed.
making his manga.
Wouldn't get the
So
proof you wanted from digital data. Not that there are many
I'm taking a lot of
that
like
handle film.
tips and stealing
No, keep it if you want.
different steps of different people's processes to work on my own webtoon here.
Chief,
Um,
from what I've been able to learn so far, it looks like the man was in Tokyo up until a few days before he was killed.
so basically his scheduling and his process,
Right. I want
how
you
he
to
gets
tell me
things done, I'm
something
stealing from
over.
there.
In the meantime, while you're in
And then Haruhisa Nakata as far as his whole
On my own.
you know, traditional process.
I'm still busy pulling security duty guarding the Prime Minister. I'll assign a Tachikoma to you.
Is the radiation going to be a problem?
How many years do you think have passed since the war ended? There's been no radiation, not after the Japanese miracle was spread.
Roger that.
If you're worried about residual radiation, I recommend getting a prosthetic body.
I'm not worried about that. It's just a gut reaction.
Do you feel sick? In that case, I can let you ride in my pod if you want to.
That'd make me feel even worse. Just pipe down and follow me. This is where it called from. Here? Have you seen this man?
Sorry, never seen him.
He He got a new prosthetic body somewhere around here, I believe.
I wouldn't know then. Nobody around here can afford a new body. They make do with the lowest performance parts they can scrounge up. Let me see it.
A whole lot of
Oh,
people
let's
have
see.
been estimating-
I missed that comment. So what I mean is that the drawing books I've been studying for some time use the methods are used to look very simple and less detailed, like a plain cartoon body. Mm. Yeah, you gotta upgrade. You gotta find some better resources. It's good to start with everything broken down into these simple, super simple, basic volume and shapes. Great place to start, and that's how most drawing books are. But you gotta upgrade at some point. You're going from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, and so on and so on. And it's going to be hard to find like the right resources for where you're at because there isn't like a step by step, very specific level breakdown for artists. It's really just like here's beginners and here's intermediate, and then you're at like the pro, semi-pro level with very little like help in between. Um, so yeah. And every artist learns differently how to draw all these very different things. So it's one of the craziest processes because you have everyone learning differently, everyone having different styles, everyone um, being more proficient or having better, tendencies for different subjects like architecture or human anatomy or animals or streets, scenes, or landscapes. It's all totally different. And then you have people who are strictly realistic, people who are cubists, anime, comic books, all these different things. So it's very hard to find the exact books you need for where you're at and where you're trying to go in the field or style that you're trying to do. So it's very hard. You just got to scour everywhere to find what you're looking for.
Said so. Just to be sure, I showed the ring and dead man's photo to the woman I took into custody. According to her, both of them were Khotans, no question about it.
Who is she?
Ruriko Asagi. She told me she worked for a refugee support NGO 2 years ago. And that's when she met Khotan. She says
Switch
they
this one
stayed in
because
touch after she left her job.
the eraser's
Their
better.
long-distance relationship continued, and they eventually got engaged. But 3 months ago, she lost contact with him.
Yep.
She came out to
Exactly. I've never been to art school, but I always like to find more books.
email from him.
Yeah, books are fine. You got anything art books you can show or suggest? Yes. Yes and no. Because some of the best references and the best information I found have been on YouTube.
Even better.
And it's all just kind of, finding the right information at the right time that you need. So some of the best art advice I found watching Jim Lee doing his live streams, which he does on Twitch, but then reposts to YouTube. But sometimes it can take up to a month before he posts it to YouTube. So I've been over on Twitch a bunch too. But he also doesn't stream very much anymore. But he posts sometimes they're like 5 hours long. And it's like, are you going to sit through all that to find one piece of information? Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't just watching him to specifically learn and look for this one piece of information. I was watching to learn anything and everything from him. So sometimes you're digging, not knowing what you're looking for exactly or what you might find, but you know that you're looking for something. At a point, you have to break things down by yourself. Like whenever I see an object, I start to look what shape I can use to make that object. That's good advice. Yeah. I have from watching Jim Lee, I've kind of figured out that it's not just about geometric shapes. You will develop your own shapes that you use too. For instance, sketchbook here. like these. This figure here, I'm not using cylinders. Here I'm using this kind of curved shape. The shoulders like a straight bottom and then a rounded top. The forearms I use a diamond shape like this. And then when I get to fists, well, first of all, you notice that there's kind of a hump here. Kind of does that on the back of the wrist. And then it goes out like that.
It was about a month ago, I guess.
And the fist, when it's balled up, has a shape starting like that. And then that. It's sorry, I'm not even sure if you guys can see it. But none of these are balls or cylinders. It's all my own shapes that I've created to learn these muscle groups. So
I don't think so, since this man apparently did receive one.
as far as art books for learning how to draw, all of my art books are very old. Because I'm in like my mid 30s. All my art books are from when I first started drawing, around like high school, college age. Aside from that, I follow comic book artists. One of the best ones to look at, I always have this sitting over here, Avengers Forever, was drawn by Carlos Pacheco. And this figures, first of all, he's great at hands. Every page, you have a new interesting hand pose going on. The dude is epic. He recently died too, probably like 2 years ago. But his leg shapes I always found really interesting. He knows anatomy like, I was gonna say like no one else, but obviously there's plenty of other artists. But he has them broken down into these very interesting geometric shapes. It's not confusing with a bunch of hatching and lighting in this, because this was made in like the 90s, I think. So the coloring is more simple and there's nothing really confusing what's going on here. There's solid line work, solid shapes, easy to look at and copy and reproduce.
So eventually, they ended up getting about 40 of us workers together. Then we were taken deep underground.
So like the legs here, these same shapes kind of repeating all throughout in this book. He's very consistent. Awesome. His arms, he's great at arms, hands, figures, and the costumes are basically painted on. So it's basically, him teaching anatomy to you throughout this whole book. He has these crazy poses like this all throughout. And his arm musculature, very simple shapes for the anatomy. Anyway, I love this book. And I keep it pretty close by all the time. I'm not always copying him, but it's always over there. I've read it so many times. Not even a big fan of the story, just the art. So I couldn't even tell you about the story. It was too confusing. Well, you have to break down your cells. Okay. That's why stuff like this is so frustrating. So many artists, different methods and information. Yeah. Do something similar to the Loomis method while using simple shapes like circles and ovals. Okay.
And Kotan, what happened to him after that?
Have you ever questioned how the old superheroes get comfortable in their costume? Have I? No, that's not something I ever thought about. I just assumed they were always comfortable.
Look, can you take us to where this Uchicon 7 place is?
No way! I wouldn't go back there even if you paid me.
Just part way is fine.
Please. I need to know what Kotan saw there and what happened to him.
GSDA's down there.
I don't get it. This is all new. That fence wasn't there when I ran away. If you go in through here, you should be able to get to it. Sorry, but this is as far as I'm going.
It's okay. Thanks.
This place is...
Arm suits. Run!
Oh shit, this is a side her thumb would be on, so let's
Come
see.
on already, jump!
Crap. Yeah, very tight suits. I'm assuming comfortable. I don't know. Women wear yoga pants all the time, and I don't know. I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing yoga pants. But I guess tight pants must be comfortable to some people. So
Kotan knew the risks, but he must have gone there anyway so that he could eventually be with you. Unfortunately, he was smart enough to figure out what kind of installation was down there. And for that, he was killed.
I'll quickly stop back home and go to pick his body up.
Good. If you run into any trouble, call me right away, okay?
Yeah.
Kotan stumbled on an accident at a nuclear plant that was hidden in the underground installation, then used that information to threaten the energy ministry. He may have really tried to expose the scandal to the public, though.
I see. My guess is they had an accident with the reactor while they were working, and then tried to cover it up by hastily starting to bury it. But the military doesn't seem to be aware of the situation.
Yes, sir.
Actually, let me double check this perspective here. Ooh, very close for freehanding that with that. The side definitely not as good. It's actually really fucking close. Wow.
How could I possibly beat something that the three of us together barely managed to take down? Huh? Looks like round two started. Round two?
The boat and the prosthetic body floaters are this address. That's a hell of a lot of firepower, though. Can't help wonder what you're planning to do with it.
I'm going to give them some incentive to free the refugees.
They must have it pretty rough, too. But I really don't give a damn as long as I get my money. All right. What's going on? What is that?
Right on time.
What'd you forget to ask?
Have you ID'd the man with the high-spec prosthetic body who attacked the Prime Minister?
Yes, I use my own shapes.
People with military affiliations, but as of yet,
By
there's
that I
no
mean
action.
they're not
Since the
typical
AI helicopter incident, the
geometric
organization's
shapes.
security has been tighter than usual. And
It's kind of like
regarding
my
the
own
high-spec body, there are no records, except
visual
for
language. I've developed my
limited to self-defense army
own
units,
shapes
and
for
a peacekeeping force, and
different
occasionally
muscle
US
groups.
models.
So
But for some reason, the roster of the people listed, even their operational records have vanished without a trace.
instead of drawing the leg as, you know, 2 cylinders and then the knees a ball, I don't do that. I know and I memorize the
Turn up anything concrete yet.
muscles in the legs to a point where I can I just do much more specific shapes when drawing the legs because I know how they curve and where they curve. A cylinder would be not even helpful for me. So
They sure got a lot of problems, seems on our plate, all right. And now the chief's being summoned to the nation's place again. The old man came back and called all that stuff they dug up.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with that?
Damn right I do. Don't you think the whole situation here is screwed up? Section 9 is supposed to be an offense organization, correct? But as long as she's holding us by the scruff of the neck like this, we can't get a chance to go on the offensive.
I don't disagree with you, but I have to say that the chief feels the same way about it.
What? Well then why?
Let me ask you this. What do you think the greatest threat to Section 9 is?
What brought that on? What do you mean?
Numbers. That's the greatest threat. An organization like ours would be powerless in the face of overwhelming material superiority. We'd be utterly defeated. If this current circumstance is, in actuality, an intentional attack directed against us, don't you think it's conceivable that somewhere, something is beginning to make its move?
Mr. Aramaki, I assume you're aware of the fact that plutonium fuel rods were recovered in the course of reburying the Shinjuku underground nuclear installation?
It has come to conclusion, Prime Minister.
Here's the fact of the matter. A top-secret plan to transport those fuel rods was set into motion recently.
yeah, you'll develop your own shapes. It really is kind of like your own language, but
In response to the foolish actions taken
you'll
by
develop that
the
after you
refugees
practice
who are being
enough
kept away from
that
their nation as new citizens, we intend to mete out divine retribution. In our
yeah,
judgment,
once you
it
practice
suggests
enough, you
that the
develop
items
that on your
the
own.
refugees landed
That's
on
something no one
should
else
be
can teach you.
returned to the refugees. Signed, the individual 11.
Okay, you're gonna have the logo on it too. Right after they got that warning, the Coast Guard made a raid based on a tip they got and caught them by surprise while they were in the middle of a major arms deal. But it looks like there's a pretty good chance that a huge amount of firearms changed hands before they arrived.
In our original plan, the transportation of the rods was to be done via ship. However, we found a bill of sale left by the terrorists. It leads us to expect that they'll attack by sea. Therefore, we've decided to make a last-minute change in plans.
And I presume you asked me here to say that you want Section 9 to oversee the land route transport.
That's precisely right. Your group immediately came to mind because it doesn't officially exist. I can think of no one better suited to the task of transporting pre-war relics that aren't supposed to exist in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know how I would
Madam Prime
teach
Minister,
something
what are your thoughts on this?
like that.
I think our decision to do this is right.
Understood, madam.
I don't know. I could be like, these are the shapes that I use, but
Prime Minister,
kind of comes down to that whole thing how everyone learns differently,
the existence of the nuclear
and we're all working in our own different styles on different things.
Plutonium had been found at the site.
Oh, yes, I see. If you'll excuse me.
So I'm not sure how helpful my method would be to. It might be helpful to you.
Details of the operation are, as I said earlier,
We seem to have a lot,
plutonium they uncovered in the
you know,
nuclear power plant.
in common as far as
They'll ferry this stuff out of the refuge.
background and interest, so
What's going on here? I know what I saw.
we might have a good amount of overlap and it might apply to you.
Government control, so why
But most people, I don't know.
exactly when did we change jobs and become the errand boys of the Prime Minister? Nothing's changed about our job.
I think I have over 100 videos on my YouTube channel. Not all of them streaming. Like most of them, I think, are not streams. There might be half and half now, but
Aren't you?
my dynamic anatomy videos,
Can't imagine
I think,
how happy I am that you're a company.
probably have the most focused group of, this whole
I don't know who you think you
concept.
are. You've really got some nerve
So.
showing your face around here. And just what does a company you mean? I can relate. I swear, why do I have to go deal with some pointless wartime artifact? A waste of my time. I'm so angry. Oh, thanks for your excellent work earlier.
Okay.
Who is that man?
Representative aid, Cabinet Intelligence Service, Strategic Influence Research Group. Azundo Goja.
You need help getting them out of the bed?
Harrison kept saying, I'm gonna go lay on the couch and go to sleep. And then he fell asleep.
Nice. Alright. I'm going to end this stream here. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you guys later.
I know what you mean.